안녕.
Initially, I started working on this video with the focus on celebrities that supported Israel and clearly having no idea what they were supporting because all they saw was probably the propaganda pushed onto the media by the Israeli government. Some of them seem to have just posted whatever it was that their PR team told them to, like when they shared that one story with hashtag BLM on it and then called it a day. Now, I'm not using this as an excuse of, oh, they were just doing what they were asked, we can't hold them responsible. No, PR doesn't just post on the celebrity story without running it through them first. That's not how it works. So all of them either fully support Israel or were irresponsible and didn't look into what they were claiming to support. Like Justin Bieber posting an image with Gaza destroyed and then with Pray for Israel written on top of it. Yikes. And also, I watched a video where this guy talked about how influencers and celebrities are literally being paid to post about Israel and posting things that pushes all the blame on Hamas and not once mentioning what Israel is doing to Palestine.
So I'm sure a lot of you have heard about celebrities like Kylie Jenner and Justin Bieber posting their support for Israel. Mind you, the picture that Justin posted was a picture of Gaza being destroyed, and he put Pray for Israel in front of it. And I'm sure a lot of you are wondering why two people who can't even point out Palestine on a map are being so vocal about this. In this video, I'm going to be going over just how insane the Israeli propaganda machine is, and they do this in one of two ways. Number one, they pay influencers and media outlets. And number two, they lie about atrocities. The way influencers like me and Kylie Jenner make money is through brand deals, and sometimes we have management companies that speak with these brand deals. Now, every time a situation like this happens, including recently, these brands will reach out to influencers who know nothing about Israel and Palestine and will pay them up to $1,000 a video to talk about this. Behind me is an actual briefing I got 2 days ago offering influencers $1,000 a video to blame the entire human rights violations in Gaza on Hamas while completely leaving out Israel entirely. And the second way is that they lie about atrocities in order to justify their violence. Sure, you've all heard the story that this reporter Nicole here started about Palestinians unaliving 40 babies. There was no evidence for this whatsoever, no pictures. The soldier she interviewed was nowhere to be found, and they even called the Israeli military and they even denied it. But you see, that didn't stop Sleepy Joe here from getting on national television and confirming that he saw pictures with his own two eyes that he saw 40 babies. And that also didn't stop every major news outlet, including the LA Times, from running this story that they later had to retract. It's very simple. If you have to lie about atrocities to get people on your side, you're not the good guy. If you have to pay influencers money to post that you're the good guy, you're not the good guy. And if you have to post pictures of your victim to make people believe that you're the victim, you are also definitely not the good guy.
Basically, they're trying to use celebrities and influencers to keep pushing this massive propaganda plan that they have going on. Now, for the past few days, I've been consuming as much content as I can and researching about this literal genocide happening right before our very eyes, which is why I've been holding off on making this video until I fully understood the whole situation. Like I mentioned earlier, I was going to be speaking on the celebrities that were supporting this word that rhymes with Everest country. Scratch that, it's not a country, it's a colonial settlement. So I was going to be focusing on how celebrities are supporting Israel and then go further into talking about how celebrities are actually kind of dumb and like they have no idea what the hell they're talking about and we shouldn't put them on such a high pedestal. But that was before I understood that this entire situation is a billion times bigger than them and they shouldn't be the focus at all. Like, I had no idea that what was going on between Israel and Palestine went this deep and it went this far. So I'm going to try my best to break this down as simple as possible. I mean, the situation is simple. There's one obvious oppressor and then there's the oppressed, and it's even more obvious which side you should be on. And no, this isn't a situation where you stay neutral. There is a correct side to be on and there is a correct answer. This all began back in late 19th century when the Zionists wanted to find a new Jewish homeland for their movement, and then they chose to invade Palestine. Obviously, the Palestinians were against this because these random ass people just showed up and are trying to take their homes away from them. Now where have we seen this before? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. It wasn't until 1948 when the State of Israel was established. And I use the term states/country very loosely because this is a colonial settlement. Get that in your minds. Israel is not a country, it's a colonial settlement. So when they settled in Palestine, of course, it didn't go smoothly, but for a brief moment, they had a ceasefire. But later on in 1967, Israel began another war and they began to occupy West Bank, Golan Heights, and Gaza Strip. They turned Gaza into a massive open-air prison. In other words, they are keeping these people of Palestine as hostages. 2 million people packed in this tiny piece of land. It's only 25 miles to get from one end of Gaza to the other. 25 miles. If you drive 45 miles per hour, you can get from one end of Gaza to the other in 30 minutes. It takes me longer to get to school. Gaza is literally the most densely populated country. Well, it's not a country either. It's an open-air prison because the Israelis are shoving them in this one corner. On top of that, Israel also has full control of what and who goes in and out of Gaza. That's how they're able to cut off their access to food, their access to water, and their access to electricity. They control the imports and exports, so that means that the people of Palestine can't even receive humanitarian help or even import weapons to fight back. Gaza doesn't even have its own government or its own airports, so literally no one can escape. They don't have any freedom whatsoever. It's a massive prison. So overall, what you basically need to understand is that Israel showed up to Palestine, a land that is not theirs, it does not belong to them, took over like the colonizers they are, and then proceeded to violently attack and murder all the innocent people there. And this has been going on for the past 75 years. While I was writing the script for this video, I found this thread on Twitter that I thought should be shared. It was a thread about the 10 stages of genocide and how Israel ticks all the boxes in Gaza. So I just want to quickly go through that because when we say genocide, this isn't a joke. This is serious. So stage 1 and 2 is classification and symbolization, which is pretty much forcing the Palestinians and Jewish population into separate groups and making it very obvious who belongs where. Similar to how in World War II, Hitler had all the Jewish populations wear was it like these name tags, or they had these tags on them that would identify them to be Jewish. Stage 3 being discrimination. Obviously, as you can see, there is a lot, and the person said they can't even fit everything. So I'm just going to read a few of them. So the Palestinians in Gaza, they don't have an airport, like I mentioned earlier. They also don't have any seaports. Israel limits their caloric intake per day. They're limiting how much food they can eat. Wow. Okay. Literally a prison. They're denied access to education and healthcare. They're denied access to healthcare outside of Gaza as well. Palestinians in West Bank are also stateless. Their homes are getting demolished, land theft, tortured while detained, denied freedom of speech. There's so much. There's a lot. Stage 4 is dehumanization. By dehumanizing the victims, by dehumanizing Palestine, that's why so many of these soldiers and people outside of Palestine people outside of Palestine or Israel are able to see what's going on and think like, yeah, this is fine. Because in their minds, people of Palestine aren't even seen as humans anymore. They're subhuman. Stage 5, organization, pretty straightforward. They have an army that's going around carrying out this genocide happening. Stage 6, polarization. This involves spreading propaganda, as we are seeing Israelis bending their backs backwards, spreading all this propaganda and making themselves to be the victims, which is not true. Stage 7, preparation. Basically, they're preparing to carry out like a massive attack on this mass extermination, this mass genocide. Stage 8, persecution, which is what we're seeing happening right now and what has been going on, honestly, for the past 75 years. They're taking away their lands, displacing people, forcing them into these areas and just bombing them over and over again. Stage 9, extermination. Yeah. This is basically the beginning of the final stage. The thread doesn't have a stage 10, but I'm assuming stage 10 is it's it. They succeeded, and we need to make sure that doesn't happen. It's actually insane seeing how the propaganda is working in real time. I know a lot of us have wondered how humanity allowed something as devastating as the Holocaust or slavery to happen. Well, we have a first-hand view of the answer. Like mentioned in the 10 stages of genocide thread, stage 4, dehumanization. By dehumanizing a group of people and brainwashing all these people to view this group as subhuman or as evil, no one cares what happens to them. So when they're using words like these rats or these evil creatures, when you think about, they're bombing a bunch of rats, you're not you don't care that much because, it's just a bunch of rats. No one cares about rats. But no, these are people. These are human beings. The same way Hitler dehumanized the Jews and the same way white people dehumanize black people in America, Israel has brainwashed its people and some outsiders into believing from the bottom of their heart that what's happening to Palestine is okay. As if they aren't committing war crime after war crime and inciting a whole fucking genocide. And it's crazy that it's Jewish people doing this thing to another group of people when the same thing happened to them again. And people seem to think that just because you were a victim in the past suddenly means that in the future you can't ever be a perpetrator. That anyone who ever speaks against you is now, what's the word y'all love to say? Is it anti-Semitic or Sanic or something like that? Just to make it clear, I'm not here to debate anyone on this. If you're not pro-Palestine, you're wrong. You support genocide, plain and simple. Argue with the wall because I'm not fucking listening to you. Israel has been working overtime to spread their propaganda, and their favorite one is trying to pin everything on Hamas. And way too many people are buying into this nonsense. Look, whether you see Hamas as freedom fighters or terrorists, the bottom line is Hamas wouldn't even exist in the first place if it wasn't for the relentless, violent attacks Israel has been throwing at Palestine for the past 75 years. So to all the people who are pro-Israel or neutral because they think that this is a Israel versus Hamas war, it's not a war. This is a crime against humanity. Remember who started this. It's not the fault of the oppressed that lives are lost. It's only and will only ever be the fault of the oppressor. And let's not forget, as if Palestine hasn't already tried to protest peacefully back in 2018. At this point, they've already been through this. They've been in this situation for, 70 years now? And they still chose to protest peacefully. And what were they met with? Bombs. They were bombed and murdered for peacefully asking Israel to get the fuck out of their own land.
For those of y'all who are critics of aggressive Palestinian resistance tactics and feel the need to consistently shift the narrative towards condemning acts done by Palestinians, especially by Hamas, do I need to remind you of the peaceful Gaza border protests of 2018 and 2019, also known as the Great March of Return, where for a year and 8 months straight, every single Friday, tens of thousands of Palestinians in Gaza gathered along the military fence that Israel has set up around Gaza to trap in Palestinians to peacefully protest against the Israeli blockade of Gaza that had been in place since 2006 and achieve the Palestinian right of return. For more than a year and a half straight, they protested unarmed, no weapons. How did Israel respond? They shot dead 223 Palestinians, injuring more than 10,000 for peacefully resisting the Israeli occupation. And that's not even mentioning the fact that at that time, in 2018, Palestinians had already been living under occupation for more than 70 years. After 70 years of colonization, Palestinians still chose to peacefully resist and peacefully decolonize, only to lead to their own death. So when you feel the need to constantly condemn Palestinian aggressive acts of resistance, I want you to think about that fact. That Israel has every intention of killing Palestinians, whether in response to peaceful protests or non-peaceful protests. What do you know about the Palestinian struggle to tell these people how to resist Israel's occupation? And where was your outrage when those 223 innocent Palestinians were being killed by Israel? Where was your demand that Israel condemn those acts of aggression? Peaceful resistance, they're killed. Non-peaceful resistance, they're killed. So you tell me what the problem is. Palestinian resistance tactics or Israel?
And not once has an oppressed group succeeded in gaining their freedom by asking nicely. The oppressor needs a taste of their own medicine before they back up. So if Palestinians fight back with aggression, it's the fault of the Israeli government. It's the fault of the people higher up who are making all these decisions. Whatever happens to them in return, it's their own fault. Why? Because they started this shit. So the results are just the consequences of their own actions. So the blood of those 40 infants that were beheaded by Hamas, that blood is on their hands. Oh wait, that never happened. Hamas never beheaded 40 infants. That was a lie, another lie that they're using to push their propaganda that they're the victims here. Israel is doing anything and everything to eradicate every single Palestinian. So whatever happens in order for Palestine to get their freedom, I'm not about to condemn them for shit. On top of trying to pin all the blame on Hamas, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, they're also paying influencers and celebrities to make posts in support of them. Now, of course, I don't know who was paid to say what or whatever, but here's a list of celebrities that have shown to be pro-Israel, aka pro-ethnic cleansing. So I highly recommend you go and unfollow them and stop showing support immediately.
Sophia Richie, we have Kris Jenner, Zoe Deutch, Nina Dobrev, Kylie Jenner, Jamie Lee Curtis, Amy Schumer, Ashley Tisdale, Pia Mia, Gal Gadot, Paris Jackson, Ben Savage, David Schwimmer, Sarah Paulson, Carol G, Sarah Hyland, Peyton List, Daniela Monet, Lana Condor, Alex Earl, Josh Peck, Addison Rae, Keo, Noah Schnapp, Martin Garrix, Miguel, Jamie Lynn Spears, Lindsay Lohan, Jennifer Aniston. There's probably more.
Out of this list of celebrities, I really do wonder who got paid for this and who genuinely stands by this. Because sometimes people will do anything for money. And it's so ironic how some of these posts is using Palestinian children and then it will have "Pray for Israel" written in bold on top of it. They can't even find pictures of Israeli children in these heartbreaking conditions because it's not happening to them. Bruh. They're so desperate to push their propaganda and their own agenda that they even went after Gigi Hadid. Like a whole government Instagram account was going after this celebrity for showing that they're pro-Palestine and trying to condemn her actions and also trying to get her to say that she condemns Hamas or whatever. The need for these pro-Israel people to get those on the other side to say that they condemn Hamas needs to be studied, because what exactly are they trying to get out of it, you know?
You want to know what's so triggering about seeing all of these interviewers, all of these news anchors, all of these journalists spending 3/4 of every interview with a Palestinian jabbing at them with the question, do you condemn them? Do you condemn the actions of Hamas? It's triggering because it forces me as a Muslim to replay all of the scariest and most frustrating moments of the past 20 years. When 9/11 happened, the Western media pounced on Muslims living in the West to get them to vocalize their condemnation of what happened during 9/11. Do you support terrorism? Do you support violence? Do you support radicals? Do you support this person? Do you support that person? And the sad part is we thought they were asking those questions in good faith. So when they asked those questions, we replied earnestly. We replied vehemently. Of course we don't support murder. Of course we don't support radicalism. Of course we don't support people killing. But what happened after we clarified our stance, after we clearly emphasized that these are the actions of a few, was one of the most horrific massacres that we had seen in our lifetime. The millions in Iraq and Afghanistan, the rolling out of the Patriot Act in the US, the horrors of Guantanamo Bay and Abu Ghraib. And all the while, these news outlets are turning back to us and are continuing to ask the question, you don't support terrorism, right? So you shouldn't have a problem with what we do to Iraq and Afghanistan. You don't have a problem with radicalism, right? So you shouldn't have a problem with the Patriot Act being enacted on Muslims across the country. The question, do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn these violent acts? Is not a question in good faith. It is a power play. And it is a power play that is meant to uphold white supremacy. The Palestinians that they are interviewing are extremely important people. Ambassadors, journalists who have been on the ground, analysts, academics, all of whom have spent decades of their life, if not their entire life, living the Palestinian experience, learning about the Palestinian struggle, studying the history, living the culture. All of these people have the capacity, have the potential to give extremely valuable and enlightening information to the masses in order to get people to understand the situation and to recognize the humanity of the Palestinians. But these interviewers, these journalists, force these people to waste their time and waste their breath by constantly jabbing at them. Do you condemn? Do you condemn? Do you condemn? I can almost hear the television producer in the back room yelling into the anchor's ear to get a condemnation out of the interviewee. If you are seeing this incessant, insulting, neurotic behavior, and you are genuinely believing that this is just a good person asking a good faith question, then you are simply too naive. You are too out of your depth to fully recognize the extensive weaponry that comes with white supremacy. White supremacy, in every circumstance of oppression, wants to maintain the illusion of righteousness. And these people understand that the illusion of righteousness is maintained so much better when people who look like me condemn those who are trying to fight for liberation. Do not fall for it.
I am not the spokesman for Hamas.
I'm not saying you are.
Why do you keep...
I'm not saying you are.
I'm not their spokesman.
You're talking to me.
I fucking hate them. Fuck Hamas. Hamas.
No,
are you happy?
You're missing my point. You're talking in a generalized way about people in the West who always talk about Arabs as savages. I don't.
No. I'm talking about America.
I actually led the campaign. I led the
media
media campaign in this country against the Iraq War. Okay, so I don't see. I don't see people in the Middle East as savages.
You are one of the good ones.
But what I would say is,
I'm not talking about you. You're great.
No, it's not about me being great.
You're amazing. We love you.
It's about the way Hamas behaved on October the 7th was like savages, like a pack of savages. It was the worst atrocity against Jewish people since the Holocaust. There has to be,
of course,
there has to be a response.
And my question should be eradicated.
My question for you is, notwithstanding the history, Bassem, what is the proportionate response?
But I don't know. But there's no Hamas in the West Bank, and they're still dying there.
You're not prepared to condemn Hamas for the slaughter of 1,400 innocent people in Israel on October the 7th. So I give you the chance, given that you want others to condemn acts that kill people, are you prepared to condemn it?
Piers, you know, this game and this narrative...
It's not a game.
It's a game.
You know,
Hamas is just a militant group that was created 20, 30 years ago.
You think they're terrorists?
You asked me this question? Okay. What is the definition of terrorism?
Well, I'll just ask you.
What is the definition of terrorism?
The UK government.
I'll give you the
UK government.
I'll give you the definition.
Has them as a prescribed.
Piers, I'll give you the international United Nations definition of terrorism. It is the unlawful use of violence against civilians to terrorize them for the sake of a political agenda. Agreed? Agreed?
This is how they spread so much false news. They literally lie about the information. First, they lied about the 40 infants getting beheaded by Hamas, which was proven to be false. Then they lied about who bombed the hospitals, as if they didn't mention multiple times that they warned the citizens to evacuate because they were about to drop bombs. Which now brings me to this sickening situation. First of all, they told the citizens of Palestine to go through this particular route to evacuate, and then proceeded to bomb said route. They bombed a truck full of Palestinian people, and their excuse is that they were searching for Hamas. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And then they bombed the hospital. They bombed a hospital with the same excuse that Hamas is hiding there, so they had to get them. And then when the media was exposing the truth, they tried to backtrack and tried to blame the bomb on Hamas. Hamas doesn't have the firepower to blow up an entire hospital. Like, one of the Hamas bombs just blows a little chunk on the side of a building. You think they have enough firepower to blow up an entire hospital? But hey, at least they warned them about the bombs, right? At least they gave them a warning to evacuate. How nice of them. That was sarcasm, clearly. But some people still think that Israel warning them to evacuate was good of them.
I really applaud Israel for doing one thing that no military force in the world does. Because I heard Ben Shapiro and I heard Ron DeSantis, and they said Israel is the only military force in the world that warns civilians before bombing them. I mean, how fucking cute. That is so nice of them. Because with this logic, if Russian troops started warning Ukrainians before bombing their houses, we're cool with Putin, right? I mean, okay, Habibi, you have warned them, go invade, it's fine, you have done your job.
And just to be clear, this wasn't an evacuation warning, okay? There wasn't a flood or an earthquake coming. This was a death threat. They were sending them a death threat. Like, imagine I came up to you and said, I'm about to slap you, watch out. And then 2 seconds later, I slapped you as hard as I could. You're still going to want to fight me, right? Or call me a dickhead or something. And rightfully so, because warning or not, why am I just randomly slapping you like this? And again, not a warning, a threat. And so instead of it being a slap, it's dropping thousands and thousands of bombs. Israel is spouting lie after lie. We see what they're doing. We can see the truth. And their attempt at controlling the media is finally failing.
Strength to go in, to identify a body, his son. Yusuf was 6 years old. His mother suspected the worst, but cannot quite believe it is true.
I'll repeat it again. This isn't a war. This is a genocide, an ethnic cleansing. They're trying to wipe off Palestinians from the world for whatever sick, invalid reason. They aren't searching for Hamas. And if you truly believe that, it's not too late to stop believing that. It's a lie. They're lying. These aren't just numbers. Don't get desensitized to this. Every single person had a life. They had a story just like you and me. They had dreams and goals. I see when people talk about the deaths of Palestinians, they usually focus on children, which I completely understand because children are literally our future. They are the most innocent form of life, and there's a particular rage and sadness we feel as a community when we lose a child. But don't forget about the others that are losing their life too. The elderly, mothers and fathers, men and women, teenagers, entire bloodlines are getting wiped out. And when I say bloodlines, I mean their entire lineage, uncles, aunts, great-grandparents gone. Just like this, wiped from the registry.
I will try to deliver this video to the world. Please do anything, okay? There's no one doing anything about what we are witnessing right now. This is the view from the window I am standing in the front of right now. Since the 24 hours, we lost control with the outside world. I am 18 years old girl from Gaza. It does not matter what my name is because every single child in Gaza is living exactly what I am living right now with my family. There is no electricity, there is no internet, there is no water, there is no food, there is no medical supplies in the hospitals. People are dying and no one is seeing this. Today at 8 a.m. I had to leave my house with my family. We tried to do yesterday at 12 a.m. but we couldn't. It was so dangerous to go out, but today they started bombing everywhere around us. This hurts. You can't know the place that is going to be bombed next. This is like mentally we are not okay. Physically also we are not okay. Every single child, not only the children, every single person who lives in Gaza has a story. We are not numbers. I have a story. Basically, my home doesn't feel like home anymore. Okay? We are the victims here. We are human beings. We deserve to live. I have lived so many attacks on Gaza, and sadly the world is normalizing this. Like, if you are a Gazan, you deserve this. No, we don't deserve. But I have never seen such an aggressive attack like this one. Literally, there's no safe place. Like, this is the view right now. There is my house, sadly, and I can't know if my house still stands there or not. I can't know. I am not in my house right now. I want to go back to my house safely. I want to continue living my life. What hurts that we don't know what this is going to have an end. We want to have an end for what we are living right now. They are trying to justify what they are doing in Gaza, but this is not true. This didn't start on the 7th of October. This has been going on for the past 75 years. They are starting occupying Palestine by doing worse than what they are doing right now. People literally are dying, slowly dying.
We want a solution for what is going right now. I am a child. I don't care about politics. I don't care about anything in the world. I just want to live safely. I want to stop feeling afraid of losing one of my family members, one of my friends, my house, my memories. I want this to stop.
This is really a genocide. According to the international humanitarian law, if you know what is the international humanitarian law, the hospital is supposed to be a safe place. It's supposed to be a shelter for the displaced people. And this is one of my neighborhood. This is one of my neighborhood. His home is completely destroyed. He tried to find a safe place in the hospital, but he came again as dead body in our hospital here. This happened to one hospital in Gaza. Please don't wait to this massacre happen in any other hospital again. We have only 5 main hospitals working now, and they will be out of service in the coming hours. Don't wait until these hospitals became out of service, and don't wait until another massacre and another genocide happened to these civilians and these displaced. We are not feeling safe in this hospital now. We are not feeling safe in any place. Please stop this mad, stop this genocide, stop this humanitarian crisis.
ايش صار معك يا عمي؟ ايش صار؟ ها؟ كنت نايم؟ ايش صار؟ ايش؟ كنت نايم؟ وصار قصف؟ صار قصف عليكم وانتم نايمين؟ خايف الحين؟ خايف ليش خايف؟ خلص القصف الحين خلص يا عمي خلص خلص انا معاك ماشي؟ خلص انت بطل لا انت مش خايف ايش خايف؟ بدك ابوك؟ الحين بدك ابوك خلاص؟ بدك تبغى كمان؟
Don't think that just because you're on the other side of the world, you can't do anything. You can still help if you really care. And if you're still watching up until this point, I believe you do. Don't start feeling hopeless. We are the last people that need to be feeling hopeless. We're not the ones getting bombed and having our families taken away from us at any second. And this post I'm about to share really gave me the confidence that what we're doing is actually working. Israel wants you to believe that you cannot do anything about what's happening. Israel wants you to believe that you're useless. As a Palestinian who grew up in Palestine and is witnessing genocide being committed against my people, as an independent journalist, I want to tell you that you have so much power. You can stop this genocide. Your posts matter. Your stories on social media matter. Your boycotts matter. All these things can make a difference. For every free human in this world, we need you more than ever now. Keep talking, keep posting, keep protesting, keep challenging Western media's lie. You can make a difference. Now that the whole world has their eyes on Israel and people are protesting and demanding a stop to what they're doing, Israel can't move freely anymore. And apparently they were planning to storm Gaza, I think, but then they pulled back. I saw someone's TikTok talking about it, but I can't find it anymore. But either way, it's working. So like OP said in the post, keep posting, keep sharing, keep blowing up posts of people that are talking about this. We can help.
Palestine!
On top of sharing the truth, here's some brands to boycott. These brands have sent money to Israel, and whose money is that? Consumers. That's our money. So if we stop spending our money on them, what are they going to donate to fund this genocide?
All right, guys, we need to start boycotting the brands that support Israel. So we cannot say we stand with Palestine while our own hard money is going into brands like this that supports Israel, even donate money to Israel to continue this genocide that is going on in Palestine. We're not going to have that. So I need you guys to blow up this video, share it, duet it, stitch it, move it around. Also, do your research and add more brands that support Israel down the comment section so I can keep updating this list and we get to expose all of them so that our money is not supporting genocide. Okay? Let's do it. Blow it up, share it, let it go wild.
Like she said in the video, be sure to also do your own research, because I saw some people in the comments say that not all McDonald's support Israel. I don't remember which country the commenter that said that was from, but they said that their McDonald's was pro-Palestine. So yeah, just do your own research and be mindful of that as well.
I've been seeing a lot of videos about companies to boycott if you want to support Palestine. And I've also been seeing a lot of people feeling overwhelmed by the amount of companies that are being listed. And the thing about modern economy is that there are thousands of companies that are going to be complicit in various degrees. So I'd like to simplify that by introducing you to the BDS movement. BDS stands for Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions. It is a Palestinian-led movement that has been fighting for the freedom, justice, and equality of Palestinians since 2005. And what they're asking people to do is targeted boycotts. Targeted boycotts are when everyone focuses on a few companies to make a bigger impact. And so they came up with a list of 8 companies and products to boycott. I am getting this from their website, thebdsmovement.net. First on the list is HP. Hewlett-Packard helps run the biometric ID system Israel uses to restrict Palestinian movement. The next company is Siemens, which was awarded a contract to build a Eurasia interconnector that will link Israel's electricity grid with Europe's, allowing its illegal settlements on Palestinian land to benefit from Israel-European trade of electricity produced from fossil gas. Then we have AXA. AXA is a French multinational insurance agency whom invests in Israeli banks, which finances the theft of land and natural resources. They're asking people to boycott Puma. Puma sponsors the Israeli Football Association, including teams illegally settled on Palestinian land. SodaStream, which is a company that has been actively complicit in Israelis' policies of displacing. They also have a history of mistreatment and discrimination against Palestinian workers. Ahava Cosmetics, they do Dead Sea mineral products. Their production site, main store, and visitor center are on illegally occupied land. Sabra, yes, the hummus company, is a joint business venture between PepsiCo and the Strauss Group, an Israeli food company which has provided funds to the Israeli army. They are also asking people to boycott any fruits, vegetables, and wines that say product of Israel on it. So these are the companies and products that they would like everyone to focus on and boycott. However, if you would like a complete list of companies, organizations, even celebrities that support the Israeli movement and government, you can go to bdsguide.com, of which they ask for people to try to focus more on tech companies, since 75% of Israelis' industrial exports are tech. Once again, the website to the movement is bdsmovement.net, and to get a complete list of companies outside of the 8 that they are asking you to focus on, please go to bdsguide.com.
In case any of you think that the boycott of any company or celebrity or any institution is bullshit, I just got an email asking to use my voice to support the difficult situation in Israel. No mention of Palestine anywhere. No mention of the crimes committed against Palestine. No mention of the disproportionate death. And these are the celebrities in support of this. The people who support Israel have money. They have money. This is why we have to hit them where it hurts. They've sent out an entire campaign to content creators and influencers to support Israel.
And one last time, I'll repeat myself. This isn't a war. This is a genocide, a crime against humanity. I'm not going to debate anyone on this. I will never debate human life. No one deserves this. Keep sharing and posting about this. We can't let this be a hot topic for a few weeks and then let silence follow. Keep watching all the videos about Palestine, because your discomfort and your uneasiness about watching these videos is nothing Nothing compared to what they're going through, what they have been going through. This situation isn't complex at all. Israel isn't the good guy. They're the oppressors. Palestinians are the oppressed. Remember that. Israel is a colony.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? This means Al-Quds need you to come in to support us.
To come to visit and to help only. This order was given to Jerusalem.
And honestly, it's no surprise to me that America is on Israel's side, because they literally did the same thing. They barged into to the Native Americans' land, killed all of them, and took their land. The exact same thing is happening. To end this video, I want to read this post made by Michelin Malouf, excuse my pronunciation, on Instagram. You stayed silent when Palestinians were bombed and killed this year, last year, and every other year. You stayed silent while Palestinians are forced to live in an open prison with nowhere to go, no food, medical, or water supply. You stayed silent as children were kidnapped from their homes and had their homes demolished and their families torn apart. You stayed silent each day a Palestinian's right was taken away with no regard to their humanness. But you outrage when Israel experienced what Palestinians have experienced for the past 75 years. You want Palestinians to stay quiet and be the perfect victims, to just suffer and stay oppressed. The oppressed have a right to resist and have the right to exist. If you are speaking up in support of Israel these last days and have never spoken up in support of the daily atrocities taking place in Palestine, sit down. Your performative activism is showing. And this isn't just to the celebrities that just shared one random flag or random post on Instagram. This is for everyone. Anyways, thanks for watching this video if you made it all the way to the end. I have no idea how YouTube algorithm is going to treat this video because of the topic, but as long as it reaches like 10 or 20 people, that's still something, you know? Bye.